Alright guys, today's project is going to be in the garage. I'm going to make a workbench slash miter saw stand with out of some 2x4s to replace this thing because it's junk. It was broken when I got it and it's getting even worse. So we're going to tear this apart, get rid of it. So first thing I got to do is clean all this off and get all this out of the way, and it's actually going to go all the way to the wall and all the way over here. It's going to be pretty big. I'm going to go ahead and keep this this top here and the one down there for the bottom shelf. I'm going to keep those and use those both as tops for the new workbench because it's still good stuff. And it's going to be basically what we're going to do is we're going to make two tops about the size of this, and then we're going to connect them. So we'll build them first, and then we'll connect them in the middle where we're going to put our miter saw. And it's going to be, these are going to be each one's going to be 6 foot by 2 feet. So first we'll get this cleaned up, and next we'll start building. Alright, so there we go. We got it cleaned up. This is where it's going to go. So we'll get started. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of planning here. Planning goes a long way. So we're going to have our front and our back. These are going to be 6 feet. And then we'll have our sides, which overall is going to be 2 feet. But you want to take your 1.5 inches off, because we're going to go inside these out in the front and back. So you're going to take 3 inches off altogether of 2 feet. So you're going to be 21 inches is what the side ones are going to be. And we're going to do 4 of those, just like that. 21 inches. 21 inches. And we're going to repeat this twice, and we're going to do 6 legs. We'll have a leg out here, a leg, 2 legs in the middle, 2 legs on the end, and those are going to be 3 feet. And I'll be interested to see how many 2x4s this takes. And 8 foot's going to be really good for this because we're going to be able to cut off our 6 foot 2x4s and still have and use the cutoffs for our cross supports here. So that's going to be good. We're going to be utilizing pretty much all of the 8 footers. So we'll double this up first, and then we'll figure out what we want to do in the middle to connect them and leave a recessed area for our miter saw. And what I'm probably going to do, because I have enough 2x4s, is I'm probably going to run some along the base too. like this. Do the same thing. And then run one along the back. So we'll cut another 6-footer, and then we'll do 3 more 21 inches, and we'll make it that way. But actually we're going to put these legs on the inside of these 2x4s, so it's going to be another 3 inches off, so it'll actually be 18 inches. Is what it'll be, because these legs are going to go on the inside of this 2x4, so you're going to have 2 thickness of 2x4 here and 2 thickness of 2x4 here, so we're going to have 3 of them at 18 inches, and those are going to connect the legs at the bottom, and then we'll run one across the bottom of the back side to connect all of them that way, just to sturdy it up. And because I think I have enough 2x4s. So we're going to get to cutting. Alright guys, one more little side note here. I'm going to go ahead and put, since we're going to split these supports here with this leg in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and put another 18-inch cut right there. So we'll have 4 of those per table. And so I figured up, we got 6 6-footers, 8 21 inches, 8 18 inches, and we need 12 3-footers. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut all your 6-footers and 3-footers first, because they're going to leave 2 feet. Both ways they're going to leave an extra 2 feet at the end of the 2x4s, and then you can use all those cutoffs for most of these, because you're going to have 6 cutoffs there of 2 feet, and you're going to have 6 cutoffs here of 2 feet. So there's 12 of your 16 smaller pieces that you need. And so you're just going to need 4, so another 8-footer to finish it out. So you should need just 6, 12, 13. So you should need just 13 2x4s to get this done. If my math is correct, I think it is. Yeah, so you should just need 13 2x4s, and we're going to screw all this together with some screws I got. So it's really not that expensive. And then as opposed to using what I already have for the decking on the top, you could just use plywood, just whatever kind of plywood you want to use. So let's get to making those cuts. Alright guys, just a tip to keep in mind when you're cutting. If you're doing multiple cuts on the same length, you can cut that board and take the cut off. So I cut this to 6 feet, say, or I cut one to 6 feet, and this is the cut off. And so I want to cut another one 6 feet. So I lay this up and I put it flush with the end, as flush as I can get it. And then what you do is you come over here with the blade and press the blade down without your hand on the trigger, and then you're just going to press it up against, with it flush, you're just going to press it up against the blade like that, where it touches the blade. So now it's touching the blade, and then the other side's flush. So now you're going to cut this one the same exact length. Just a little bit of a tip. Alright guys, so important lesson here. I cut all the 6-footers wrong. For some reason I had a brain fart and I cut them all to like 6 feet 8 inches somehow. I don't know what happened. So always double check your measurements, and when you make your first cut, when you're doing repeat cuts like that, make sure you check your first cut and just make sure that you're doing everything right, because now I'm going to have to recut those 6 pieces and it's going to cost me another 2x4 because my cutoffs aren't going to be long enough. Not a huge deal, it happens, but just something to keep in mind. Something else you can utilize to accelerate your wood cutting is to use a stop block. Most miter saws have a clamping place on them. If not, you just use some kind of clamp and clamp your piece of wood, and then you can just put each one up against it and just cut. So that's what we're going to do with the in-between pieces here. Alright, so we got all our pieces cut and we got it laid out how we're going to put it, and then that's how the legs are going to go in, and then the 18 piece is going to come across, the 18-inch piece, and we're just going to assemble them upside down just like that. And it's going to be easier. We're going to utilize the concrete floor to hopefully keep it pretty flat on the top. And then our in between is going to be where our miter saw is going to go. And so we'll figure that out after we get these together. And to put this together, we're going to be using our cordless drill and 2.5-inch screws. Alright, so there you go. We got one down, one to go. Quick and easy. And we'll get to it and we'll go to the next step. Alright, so here are the completed 2 workbenches. And I like the way they turned out, and they're solid and they're sitting good, and they're really pretty square. I'm pretty pleased with that. So I just have this stuff sitting on here. It's up to you, whatever you're using, you can screw it down. I'm just going to sit it on there. It's heavy enough and everything's flat enough. I'm just going to leave it like that. And so next we're going to figure out how we're going to put our miter saw in the middle there. And so what I'm going to do is, my miter saw has these little extensions here, and we're going to take those off like I did this one, and then we're going to put this 2x4 cut out across here, and then we're going to clamp it on each side and then sit it in there, and that's going to give us our level of where we need to be on supporting the bottom of this. So I'll show you. Clamp the 2x4 across like that, laid it on there, and that's going to give us our position here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build this back out a little bit here with another 2x4 on the end of each one of the, so that way we can put another 2x4 out here like this and catch it, and we can catch have something to screw into for the whole thing, and that'll catch the miter saw where we want it to. And so that's the plan. Alright, so here's what I did. I took some of the cutoffs that I had before from where I messed up, and I just made a little frame out here, and then I put a couple extra pieces here to have something to screw onto. And so this is going to go down in here like this, like so, and then I also have this, was from the drawers that went with that old workbench, and it fits really nicely on there. I just have to cut it long ways, and so I'm probably going to go ahead and do that, and use that instead of throwing it away. And then we'll clamp the piece of wood back on here and throw it over here, figure out our height, and then screw it in there. Alright, so we got it clamped up where we want it, and all we're going to do now is come under here and make sure it's all the way up against it. And then we're just gonna try and mark off where we want it to be here. And we'll come to the other side and do that, and then I'll take it back out, and I'm gonna use this clamp to clamp our little frame out there to this, so that way we can get it situated in place and hold it there and then screw it in. Alright, so you can see here we got it clamped up, and then I set my little piece on here. I'm going to put on here so we can line it up with the marks, and you can see it's right in line with the marks that I made. So we'll screw it there, and then we'll do the other side. Alrighty, there we go. We're all finished. Got all the stuff up on there, some storage down below, and it's sturdy, holds my toolbox and everything just fine. And this stuff's not going to be up here forever, but I just somewhere to put it for now. But you can see that I put my toolbox here, and I still have enough room to cut everything however long a board I want without getting in the way. So that's nice. And you can see just how close it is there, and it worked out really good, and I'm really happy with it. So there it is. I'm pretty pleased with it. It looks pretty good, and happy with how it turned out.